Hey y'all, happy day after Christmas. I showed a little bit of the yard before I got it all snowed over. So this is the reason why I had kind of huddled things together for warmth. Walking backwards. This is not actually played in reverse. I'm just hoping that I don't fall off anything. So anyways, yeah, I did a little protection for winter. Kind of snowed pretty well last night and some of today. Out here where I put my plastic covered benches with the bonsai underneath them look pretty good. And then all the trees that are just on the benches that I thought would do fine. Yeah, that's why. A little bit of insulation and they're just fine. It's getting down to about the teens over the next day or two, which is, you know, for the Pacific Northwest, that's pretty cold. We had single digits forecasted, but that never lasts long. Here in Western Washington, if you ever want the weather to be different than what it is, just wait for it. It'll happen. So yeah, another protected area over there. That's one of my bonsai benches in my fancier display area. Again, just plastic draped over the benches with the plants underneath it. Let's go check and see how they're looking. Definitely not going to walk down this section of steps backwards. All right, flip the camera around if I can. Never mind, can't. Yep, so that's the inside. Nice and cozy. So really that just kind of keeps the cold is what I'm really worried about. I'm not worried about all this snow because obviously most of these trees can handle that. The snow keeps the cold air from getting to the sensitive parts, like, you know, new roots. There's a lot of root activity I've seen happen in fall here in the Pacific Northwest, and some of these trees, like I showed you, that were covered up, have some newer roots that I want to protect on the ground. Some of these other evergreens, like these arborvitaes, they actually really difficult to kill. Probably one of the most difficult trees I've had to perish. So. And then some of them are just really good at being in the snow, like a Engelmann spruce, like this one. Can't tell much about it, it's just covered in snow. Perfectly happy. Also something like larch. Now this is a Japanese larch, which is not so great as a eastern larch. Eastern US larch can handle really cold temperatures. They actually Eastern larch prefer something maybe a zone or two colder than what I have, but Japanese larch are perfectly happy. And then I'll show you over here in the greenhouse. So the greenhouse is actually so I just filmed an entire 5-minute segment after I dropped my phone there and didn't have the record button pressed like I should have. Anyways, I had cat-like reflexes, caught my phone, didn't fall to the ground and break it, so that's awesome. So here I am giving you a tour of the greenhouse, which is currently insulated with snow. I'm going to keep that insulation on there. I won't be brushing that off because that does keep it in here a little bit warmer than it normally would be. Normally about 5 degrees warmer in here than it is outside. It's about 26 outside right now, so it's pretty comfortable. Just above freezing, or sorry, just below the freezing level. Got to do my math right. So that allows me to protect things like that gardenia in the far back in that black plastic pot. That just barely handles it down to my zone. It prefers it, I'm zone 8. It prefers it a little bit warmer than that. Other things like these Japanese maples, azaleas, boxwoods, other things that I've had in here, I've had outside, perfectly happy in the winter before, completely unprotected. But since I do have some space, I went ahead and used it. I have some larches, Japanese larches I'll be working on soon. I have a little hornbeam I've worked on before and I've shown you the videos. Some of my tools strewn about, ready to work on other things. Heaters ready to keep me warm. Pots ready for spring. I have a lot of stuff that I do in this space. And actually, one of the things I'm going to be doing this year with this space is, I guess that's next year now, because we're not in the warm part of the year yet. I'm going to be most likely redoing most of this greenhouse. It's served a really good purpose. Like I said, I do a ton of work in here. Very useful space. but it is starting to have a few issues. The roof especially has a lot of breaks in it. You can see a lot of debris up there. So on one side, the snow accumulates and falls off as it melts, but the other side is actually pretty flat and the snow doesn't fall off pretty well. So I'm going to redo the roof. I have some broken sections on both the roof and the back wall. Not that you can tell, but behind this tree right here, I had a large branch from a nearby tall tree break through that. So I actually have plastic over the plastic. Not super great. Also could use some strengthening in case we start getting snow more often. It's pretty mild here in Western Washington, so a snowy winter, it just doesn't really happen that often. It's the day after Christmas right now, and we almost had a white Christmas, but I think I'm hearing the birds climbing around out there. So yeah, I'm going to be working on the greenhouse this upcoming year. I have a lot of pots that I'm going to putting a lot of trees into. I have, like I said, several trees that I'm working on. A lot of stuff outside covered up right now that I'll be working on. Another thing I'm excited to do is I'm going to be doing a little bit more work on my display areas. Something I haven't had a lot of is sun exposure. So I have an area that we're going to convert into a sunny display area or growing area for some of my plants that enjoy that sort of thing. It may mean I get into pines or junipers more. Probably won't, but I would have the area for it if I choose to. By doing that, I'm going to be able to either expand the amount of or type of trees that I have, or just spread them out so I can grow them a little bit wider and stronger. Anyways, I'm excited about that. That'll come up when the weather gets a little bit warmer. Greenhouse build when it gets a little warmer. Also putting in another shed so I can convert our current shed into more of a studio space where I can keep it a little bit warmer. I'm hoping to do some cool backdrops. Something that has been requested in videos quite a bit throughout my history of making videos has been a better backdrop. For some reason, people don't like looking at, you know, a dark picture with some white stuff behind it, and it's just hasn't been a super great experience for some of the viewers. And also for me, it gets cold out here. This is not an insulated space, and I don't have a really great heating system. Basically, I have a little floor heater. Not a floor heater, a radiant heater that sits on the floor, and that basically just heats just whatever it's pointed at, which I make it point at me so I stay just warm enough to be able to work. Studio space that I'm hoping to build, actually convert our shed into, will be a nice space for me to do some bonsai videos, work during the winter nice and comfortably when I do a lot of my styling. And also, my wife does a lot of painting, so she'll be able to do some painting out there and allow it to dry without having the fumes in the house, because she also does some things with, you know, acrylic sprays or resin or different things like that that off-gas quite a bit. So that'll be a better space that we can use at different times of the year. She could do that during the summer. I can use it more during the winter. We won't be invading each other's area of work for a lot of the time. We'll probably both be in there some of the times, but she doesn't like to be on the videos, so you may never see her. I think that's pretty much the update that I wanted to do. Not a lot of work going on today as far as this goes. We just got back from sledding, so we're all taking turns drying off, clopping off all the snow and stuff like that. So I'll be heading in, having a little bit more family time on this day after Christmas. Nice snowy day out there. Hope you all had a good week, having a good winter. And if you're on the other hemisphere where it's nice and sunny in summer right now, enjoy it while it's here. Good to see you all. I haven't been doing these for a while, so hopefully see you a lot more now that I am able to have more time doing this. I'll talk more about that on future videos. All right. Thank you all for coming to the Bonsai Echo channel. I'm Jared. Good to see you. And bye.